Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So today we are reading from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 12, the killing of the demon Aghasura, texts 14 to 24. So I will just read those texts, the translations, and we will together recite text 24. Text 14. Aghasura, who had been sent by Kṛṣṇa, was the younger brother of Putana and Bhakasura. Therefore, when he came and saw Kṛṣṇa at the head of all the cowherd boys, he thought, "This Kṛṣṇa has killed my sister and brother Putana and Bhakasura. Therefore, in order to please them both, I shall kill this Kṛṣṇa along with his assistants and other cowherd boys." Aghasura thought, if somehow or other I can make Kṛṣṇa and his associates serve as the last offering of sesame and water for the departed souls of my brother and sister, then the inhabitants of Rajabhumi, for whom these boys are the life and soul, will automatically die. If there is no life, there is no need for the body. Consequently, when their sons are dead, naturally all the inhabitants of Raja will die. After thus deciding, that crooked Aghasura assumed the form of a huge python, as thick as a big mountain and as long as 8 miles. Having assumed this wonderful python's body, he spread his mouth like a big cave in the mountains and lay down on the road, expecting to swallow Kṛṣṇa and his associates, the cowherd boys. His lower lip rested on the surface of the earth, and his upper lip was touching the clouds in the sky. The borders of his mouth resembled the sides of a big cave in a mountain, and the middle of his mouth was as dark as possible. His tongue resembled a broad traffic way. His breath was like a warm wind, and his eyes blazed like fire. Upon seeing this demon's wonderful form, which resembled a great python, the boys thought it must be a beautiful scenic spot of Vrindavana. Therefore, they imagined it to be similar to the mouth of a great python. In other words, the boys, unafraid, thought that it was a statue made in the shape of a great python for the enjoyment of their pastimes. Purport. Some of the boys, upon seeing this wonderful phenomenon, thought that it was in fact a python, and they were fleeing from the spot. But others said, "Why are you fleeing? It is not possible that a python like this is staying here. This is a spot of beauty for sporting." This is what they imagined. The boys said, "Dear friends, is this creature dead, or is it actually a living python with its mouth spread wide just to swallow us all? Kindly clear up this doubt." The friends began to discuss among themselves the reality of the wonderful creature laying before them. Was it dead, or was it actually a living python trying to swallow them up? Thereafter they decided, "Dear friends, this is certainly an animal sitting here to swallow us all. Its upper lip resembles a cloud reddened by the sunshine, and its lower lip resembles the reddish shadows of a cloud. On the left and right, the two depressions resembling mountain caves are the corners of its mouth, and the high mountain peaks are its teeth. In length and breadth, the animal's tongue resembles a broad traffic way, and the inside of its mouth is very, very dark, like a cave in a mountain. The hot, fiery wind is the breath coming out of his mouth, which is giving off the bad smell of burning flesh because of all the dead bodies he has eaten." Text 24. Please repeat after me. Asman kim atra grasita nivishtan ayam tata bhakavat vinangshyati kshanat anena iti bhaka ari ushat mukam vikshya uddasantah karam tadanaihi yayuhu asman kimatra grasita nivishtan ayang tata ched bhagavat vinangshyati shanad kshanad aneneti bhakaryushanmukham vikshyodasanta karatadanairyayu asman kimatra grasita nivishtan ayang tata ched bhagavat vinangshyati shanad aneneti bhakaryushanmukham vikshyodhasanta karatadanairyayu asman kimatra grasita nivishtan ayang tata ched bhagavat vinangshyati kshanad aneneti bhakaryushanmukham vikshyodhasanta karatadanairyayu Sanmukham Vikshyodasantah karatadanairyayu Asman kimatra grasita nivishtan Ayang tata ched bhagavad viningshyati Shanadaneneti bhakaryushanmukham Vikshyodasantah karatadanairyayu. After this, Asman kimatra grasita nivishtan Ayang tata ched bhagavad vinangshyati Sanmukham Vikshyodasantah karatadanairyayu. Asman, all of us, kim, whether, atra, here, grasita, will swallow, nivishtan, who have attempted to enter. I am this animal, tata, so, chet, if, bhagavat, like Bhakasura, vinangshyati, he'll be vanquished, kshanat, immediately, anena, by this Kṛṣṇa, iti, in this way, bhaka ari ushat mukam, the beautiful face of Krishna, the enemy of Bhakasura. Vikshya, observing, looking at. Uddhasantaha, loudly laughing. Karatadanaihi, with clapping of hands. Yayuhu, entered the mouth. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON. Translation. Then the boy said, has this living creature come to swallow us? If it does so, he will immediately be killed like Bhakasura without delay. Thus they looked at the beautiful face of Krishna, the enemy of Bhakasura, and laughing loudly and clapping their hands, they entered the mouth of the python. Purport. After talking about the terrible animal this way and that way, they decided to enter the demon's mouth. They had full faith in Krishna because they had experienced how Krishna had saved them from the mouth of Bhakasura. Now here was another Asura, Aghasura. Therefore they wanted to enjoy the sport of entering the demon's mouth and being saved by Krishna, the enemy of Bhakasura. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikasa Swaminiti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Asman kimatra grasita nivishtan ayang tata ched bhakavad vinangshyati kshanad aneneti bhakar yushanmukam vikshyo dasanta karatadanair yayuhu. Then the boy said, as the living creature come to swallow us, if he does so, he will immediately be killed like Bhakasura without delay. Thus they looked at the beautiful face of Krishna, the enemy of Bhakasura, and laughing loudly and clapping their hands, they entered the mouth of the python. Yeah, so just we see here all the gopas completely, in one sense, they were thrilled. At the same time, they were doubtful. And ultimately, in today's verse, we can see that come what may be, Krishna is there. That was their mood. Krishna is there. Krishna is there to protect us. And so they came to this conclusion. But it's quite interesting that they were doing an analysis of this Aghasura who appeared like a huge mountain. We can just look at some of the verses, the kind of description that is given, because normally we hear about different kinds of snakes, but no one would have ever in their life would have heard a snake like this. The description that is described here, which is quite ghastly, at the same time quite mind-boggling to see such a description. So here in the verse 14, we can see here, now Aghasura has appeared there. He has appeared in the scene, and now he is in a typical mood of a demon. He is in a complete vengeful mood. So he thought about how Putana and Bhakasura, they were killed, and I have got a great job to do now. Now it's an opportunity for me. I need to be very loyal to Kamsa, and then I should take it as my task to finish Krishna and his other friends. And then he had as the verse explains, that if he kills Krishna, then all the other inhabitants of the Vraja and his parents, everyone, because he is the life and soul of the Vrindavan. If he is killed, then everyone is just like you say, one hit, two mangoes, they say here in Tamil, they're saying like that. But then with just one shot, he's going to finish the entire Vrindavan. So this was the demoniac plan he had. He's very cruel and very violent and cruel. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he just explains about the different demons, what are the kind of anarthas they exhibit, he specifically points out the cruelty and the violence that Aghasura represent. And also, well, we are not going to deal with that. We'll just leave it for some other session. There's some more things to discuss. So, yeah, the point is that yes, he was very demoniac, he's very cruel, and he thought that okay, let me just devour all these gopas and kill Krishna. That's my mission. And in that way, this is the demoniac gratitude he had. So in that way, I will be able to offer the tarpana of killing them. I will be offering sesame seeds in the water to my dear sister and brother who lost their lives. So that was in the verse 14. And then in verse 15, he further, in verse 15, he makes the point that this could be the last offering of sesame and water for the departed souls. So he wants to be very honest with their kith and kin, that let me be loyal and do something for them. So in that way, all the Vrajavasis will die, and that will create happiness for Kamsa and his brothers. So here it's very interesting. Shukadeva Goswami uses this word. What's that? Specifically uses the word crooked here. Yeah, he uses this in this verse. The word, he says that Pati Vyasheta Grasana Shaya Kalaha. So here Shukadeva Goswami says that he's a crooked fellow, this Aghasura. That's why he immediately, after having come to the scene, see how the Gopas and Krishna, they're enjoying. So he thought that okay, let me now put a challenge, and then let me now take this opportunity and then kill them. So here Shukadeva Goswami is pointing out that immediately assume the form of a python's body. But this kind of a python we cannot see anywhere. So the description is given how he is almost like he's like 8 miles, the length, and then the width is also the description is given. We'll come to that. Yeah, here in this verse it said that he is as thick as a big mountain and as long as 8 miles. 8 miles is something like from here to maybe even maybe up to this Udayapati, when you can cross that. So long was the python. And then the description is given that when he opened the mouth, he did not some 108 or 200 feet. It's like it was touching the sky. If you just even think of imagining this scene, this is mind-boggling. So he was able to open the mouth so much, and then he pretended himself to be like a mountain. And then the description is given here that when he opened the mouth, it appeared like a huge cave. So and then he was just waiting very patiently to swallow Krishna. So then Shukadeva Goswami says that this is his crooked mentality. And in the next verse it explains, his lower lip rested on the surface of the earth, and his upper lip was touching the clouds in the sky. And then it says the borders of his mouth resemble the sides of a big cave in a mountain. You can just imagine this scene, And then he's saying that his tongue resembled a broad traffic way. So it was like a huge road, the tongue was there out, and then this whole thing. So they were all watching. The Gopas are watching. What a scene it is. We have never seen anything like this in Vrindavan. What is this? So then the whole discussion started, and also the description is given about his eyes. It was like blazing fire. So this is the whole point. So they said that maybe this is a special scenic spot for us in Vrindavan. And then they thought that, maybe another one was considering that maybe it's a huge, great python. And some of them, they didn't bother. They said, no, it's like some special statue to have some fun. So special statues created. So this is all for pastime. So then Prabhupada makes a point in the purport that they said that, hey, there is no need to flee. Now, why are you fleeing? It is not possible that a python like this is staying here. This is a spot of beauty for sporting. So they had their own imagination. They thought that it's just for us to enjoy. No need to be afraid. We can have fun here. So then another boy said that, dear friends, is this creature dead, or is it actually a living python with his mouth spread wide just to swallow us all? So they were having this doubt. So they want to clear that. So some of them thought that maybe a dead python. Some of them thought, it's a real python. No, it's just a scenic beauty here. It's just a statue here for having fun. And then gradually another opinion they brought up. No, it's definitely a very strange animal. It is all here. It's just set up to swallow us all. So that's why you see that then they started describing. See the upper lip. It's reddened, and then the lower lip is like that of a reddish cloud. So they were giving all this description. And then they could see the depressions on the mountain. It appears sometimes we see when we travel in the train, or sometimes we see huge mountains. It appears like some elephant, or the stones are placed in such a way that it's looking like a huge mountain. We have this beauty, and now just think about it in Vrindavan, and then there's such a huge snake. So they were having all these discussions, and then when they saw the teeth, the teeth of this python, they were thinking that it's the peak of the mountains. So like that they were having all this analysis and the discussions. And then so then again they say that how that inside of the mouth, as they wanted to go inside. So but then it was like a very dark. When you get inside a cave, it becomes dark because there is no sunlight. So that was another description that was given. And then another description that is in the verse 23, that's being pointed out, that there is also fiery wind coming from that. But the fiery wind also was along with it, there is a foul smell. And then that proved that this is a demon who had ate so many different kinds of animals. Many dead bodies he has eaten. So that was also another discussion. So now then in this today's verse, there is a point that they just concluded that yes, he has come to swallow us. So they say that Asman Atra Grasita. Yes, there is no doubt this fellow has come to swallow us. And anyway, what's the problem? Bhagavat Kṛṣṇāt Anena iti Bhakari Ushat Mukam. What is anyway? Bakasura also came like this. Kṛṣṇa killed Bakasura. What is there for us to worry? So they were looking at Kṛṣṇa, and then very nicely here, Srila Shukadeva Goswami is pointing out Bhakari Ushat Mukam. They saw the beautiful face of Kṛṣṇa. So they're looking at the beautiful face of Kṛṣṇa, and again they are remembering that this our Lord, he killed the Bakasura. So what is there for us to worry? Why we have to worry? So we can do whatever we want to do. So then they were very bold. Anybody who comes near to us, even a small snake, a small child, or even little elder ones, we are all afraid. But they were too confident. They were too bold. Although they thought that it has come to swallow us, because Kṛṣṇa is there. They saw the beautiful face of Kṛṣṇa, and they were loudly laughing. And then it's explained here that Tadanaihi Yayuhu, Karatadanaihi. They were clapping their hands. Oh, it's fun. Let's go inside. They entered the mouth. So that's what is it. Here is an amazing purport by Prabhupada. He makes a very important point here. So Srila Prabhupada says, after talking about the terrible animal in this way, that way, so all this analysis they did, and finally they became very bold, and they entered. So Prabhupada says that they entered the mouth of the demon. Prabhupada says they had full faith in Kṛṣṇa, because they had experienced how Kṛṣṇa had saved them from the mouth of Bakasura. It's a very important point. Full faith in Kṛṣṇa. So they wanted to sport, they wanted to have fun. So they were so confident that Kṛṣṇa, having killed Bakasura, what is a big thing for him to kill this Aghasura? Now, if you are going to get in trouble, no problem, Kṛṣṇa is there. But then to have this full faith and enter the mouth of Aghasura is not an ordinary thing. So I was just thinking that this whole point, in fact, the entire scriptures, the Vedas, everything is meant for this one point, that to have full faith in Kṛṣṇa. In fact, the International Society for Kṛṣṇa Consciousness has been started. It was started by Srila Prabhupada to develop full faith in Kṛṣṇa, or in other places it is said that to develop full faith in the holy name of the Lord, which is not different from Kṛṣṇa. That is why we have the entire process of Kṛṣṇa consciousness is to develop full faith in Kṛṣṇa. Now, Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur and Sanatana Goswami, they are pointing out. So they are pointing out that yes, Sanatana Goswami, he points out that yes, they had full faith, that immediately Bakasura was immediately killed by Krishna. So they developed, when they just looked at the face of beautiful face of Krishna, so they felt that okay, they just ran towards Agasura. He says they were fearless, and then they say that, or another point they are making that, or they laugh to show that you should be careful here, to show courage and pride along with fearlessness, as if driving away a snake they ran forward. Okay, what this snake will do? They want to send off this Agasura. Like that, they went forward, he says. Then Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he points out, so he says that Krishna is right here. So they actually they are seeing all these things, they are watching everything, all this point, and then they are looking at Krishna. So Krishna is completely clear. He knows that because he is Antaryami in everyone's heart. He knows what's going to happen. Although he felt, we will see in the other verses that it's going to come. So Krishna felt that, oh, this is not good. He felt like that my friends are going to enter inside. What will happen to them? So like that, Krishna for one moment he thought like that. But then these Gopas, they are thinking that they are thinking that they were so bold and they were fearless, and then they thought that anyway Krishna is there. What's going to happen? So this point of having complete faith, there are many incidents in which various devotees, they had complete faith in Krishna. Even right in the 10th canto, we will see in so many situations when the asuras were trying to devour Krishna, or they are trying to attack Krishna. They all, many of the Gopas and the other residents of the Vraja, they had faith that Krishna will take care of the situation, Krishna will protect. Also there were mixed feelings, but then Srila Prabhupada in various purports and other lectures and other situations, he explains the whole point of having full faith. It's specifically this word that Srila Prabhupada has used here. They had full faith in Krishna. So there is another incident in which the Gopas and the residents of Vrindavan, I just took one incident. There are so many incidents we can discuss. Specifically when the Vrindavan, when it was devoured by the fire. So there is one verse in that the Gopas and the Vrajavasis are expressing their whole mood of taking shelter of Krishna, having full faith in Krishna. Tata uttaya sangbhranta dhagyamana vrajaukasaha Krishnam yayuste sharanam maya manujam ishwaram. Then the residents of Vrindavana woke up extremely disturbed by the great fire threatening to burn them. Thus they took shelter of Krishna, the Supreme Lord, who by his spiritual potency appeared like an ordinary human being. So there's another situation where everybody was resting. Suddenly they saw wildfire all around. But then we will be in such great panic, but they were in cool and composed. They took shelter of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada of course, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada in that purport, they are making a point that very interesting. When the pure devotee, they always have faith in Krishna and his words. Immediately, what was the remembrance they had? They remembered that Garga Muni has predicted. What was the prediction he gave? So we see in the chapter 10, canto 10, chapter 8, verse 16. Garga Muni, when he was giving blessings, he said that by his power, you will easily be able to cross over all the obstacles. Right? So they had full faith in these words. So it is written, therefore the residents of Vrindavana who had full faith in Krishna took shelter of the Lord in hopes of being saved from the impending disaster threatened by the forest fire. So that's the whole point. So to have this faith, and then when Indra was so arrogant and he was very proud, and he was sending the Samvartaka clouds, they all had, okay, Krishna is there. And Krishna took the Govardhana hill. Everybody went, they took shelter of Krishna. They were not afraid at all. So this is a great, that's why they are pure devotees. That's why they are on the top level. Because their faith is, they are the Uttamas. So based on the faith only, the degradations are also made. So to the degree a person has complete faith, to that degree he is considered a pure devotee. So that is the whole key. So now we are seeing in this pastime also that the faith is being explained here. So also in the Nectar of Devotion, in the Bhagavatam, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the gradations of devotees are based on full faith they have on Krishna. So that is why there is Komal Shraddha and then Prouda Shraddha. So having full faith. So we will just see how the Chaitanya Charitamrita gives instruction. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave instructions to Sanatana Goswami on the science of devotional service, so he is pointing out about the key aspect of bhakti, which is called as faith. So in this particular context, he is defining about the definition of faith. Shraddha Shabde Vishwasa Kahe Shuddrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaile Sarva Karma Krita Hai. So he says that Shraddha is confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. This is a very important point. So you completely engage in the service of Krishna, everything is taken care. You are not obligated to anything. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. As practitioners of Krishna consciousness, we should be thoroughly convinced that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We are His eternal service. If we just satisfy Krishna, everyone else will be satisfied. Yata taro moola nishechanena. Right? By watering the root of the tree, then the branches, the leaves, the twigs, everything gets nourished. No need to take shelter of the demigods. No need to take shelter of other powerful personalities. It is quite sufficient to take shelter of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, under the responsibility, under the guidance of His pure devotees. That in itself is sufficient. This is a very important aspect. A neophyte does not have this faith. But a Madhyama and a Uttama, they have this faith. So this is an important aspect that by proper association, one can develop the faith. In the purport to this, Srila Prabhupada points out that a person who has this faith, when one engages in the Lord's devotional service, he is to be understood to have performed all his responsibilities in the material world. He has satisfied his forefathers, ordinary living entities, demigods, and is free from all responsibility. Fruitive activity is meant to satisfy the senses of the conditioned soul. However, when one awakens to Krishna consciousness, it does not have to work separately for pious activity. So for this, we need to hear from Gita and Bhagavatam. We need to hear from pure devotees. We need to render service to the pure devotees. Then one can get this faith. In fact, without this faith, we cannot make progress. We will always we'll always keep the legs in two places. Little bit material, little bit spiritual, little bit material, little bit spiritual. For that matter, it doesn't mean that one becomes irresponsible. Krishna will take care. We don't dump on Krishna. We perform all our duties responsibly, but simultaneously having full faith that Krishna is there to protect. In fact, it is one of the angas of the bhakti. Shadvida Sharanagati. Rakshish ititi Vishwaso. One should have faith that on Krishna's protection. So we know, because if we are doubtful, then we can never make progress. In the material world is a very dangerous place. Always it's like Prabhupada says in one of the lectures that there is gambling. Gambling means, yes, there is always a risk in the material world. But taking to the shelter of Krishna is the most intelligent gambling. Or you can say, whether I should join full time or not, whether I will sustain or not. Yes, there is risk. May be possible, may not be possible. But that step forward, we come forward and take shelter of Krishna and His pure devotees under the guidance, having faith in the words of the scripture, in the words of the previous acharyas, and then taking that one step forward, yes, that is surrender. That's surrender. We're thinking, maybe possible, may not be possible. It is. Yes, we have to be cautious. We have to think, but then in a favorable way, taking forward that yes, we will take shelter of Krishna. So many devotees, Putamad, what that Vitaraga Bhayakroda, Manmaya Mam Upashitaha, Bahavo Jnana Tapaso, Putamad Bhavamagataha. Raga Bhaya Krodha, giving up all these things. So many in the past, they have taken shelter of Krishna and the pure process of devotional service. And what has happened? They were able to cross over this ocean of material essence. So like this, we should, not sentimentally, not emotionally. And sentimentally and emotionally, if we do something, it will not last it will just vanish very shortly. But properly giving oral reception to Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, hearing and then trying to accept the conclusions of scriptures, we take forward. We may be able to do it, we may not be able to do it. That's a different thing. But having faith and then taking step forward, Krishna is very pleased. And then we have this verse from the Bhagavatam also, Narada Muni saying that even if you are not able to attain perfection in this lifetime, there's absolutely no loss. Because this is the process that we have, having taken the human form of life. This is what we need to try. If we have not tried this, then we have not endeavored in the right direction in the human form of life. So, whatever may be your situation, you may be a grahastha, you may be a brahmachari, you may be a vanaprastha, whatever may be your situation, that endeavor to take steps forward to come to the shelter of Krishna and engage in his devotional service, that is required. So, that is called as faith. So, further in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna's Kaviraja Goswami is pointing out how this becomes the adhikari, or this becomes the adhikar to make progress in Krishna consciousness. Shraddhavan Janahai Bhakti Adhikari Uttama Madhyama Kanishta Shraddha Anushari. A faithful devotee is truly eligible candidate for the loving service of the Lord. According to one's faith, one is classified as a topmost devotee, intermediate devotee, or an inferior devotee. So he continues to define Shastra Jukte Shunipun Drida Shraddha Jar Uttama Adhikari Shei Tare Shankshar. One who is expert in logic, argument, and the revealed scriptures, and who has firm faith in Krishna, is classified as a topmost devotee. He can deliver the whole world. Shei Tare Shankshar. That is here is a clear definition of who is the Uttama Adhikari. He has completely controlled his mind and senses. He has controlled the senses for urges for the tongue, the belly. He has controlled all his urges and is fully fit to initiate all the conditioned souls. This is one of the definitions also in the nectar of instruction that is given. And here there is a specific point that is given. He can defeat those who are the opponents with firm logic based on the scriptures. And that's the whole point, no? Based on revealed scriptures, not from our own mental factory, we give some ideas. So that is how you explain the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and you base the faith on the scriptures, and he is very confident in the conclusions of the scriptures. So such a person can deliver the world. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is pointing out, and he says that the faith is very deep in those advanced devotees, and it is not blind. So in the next verse he says that Shastre Juktau na Nipunaha Sarvata Drida Nishchaya. Very firm faith he has got. Prauda Shraddho Adhikariyaha. So Prauda Shraddha here means very deep. He has a deep faith. Sabhaktau Uttamo Mataha. So he is very much convinced, fully convinced, and such a person is considered Uttama. So we can just think of Sridhara Swami, no? So when he had a just born baby, and his wife died, so he was thinking, my God, what to do? Who will take care of this kid? And then he saw that there is also a baby lizard, it was struggling for existence. So he saw that somehow it struggled, and then it was taken care. Then he thought that okay, the baby lizard is able to manage like this, so the Lord will take care. Okay. So this is the deep faith they have. But we can't imitate. Also, no, that's also there. Okay, Sridhara Swami did like that. Okay, child is born, I'll just leave it and go. There is in a neophyte mentality stage. Sometimes we will try to dump responsibility on someone else. That's completely different. Here we are defining, giving an example of what a deep faith he had. That he could just walk out completely having faith. There is no, after 10 days, 15 days, he had full faith that the Lord is residing as Paramatma. He will take care. That is a deep faith. I'm just giving you an example. So that is why here the definition is given that deep faith is centered on scriptures, conclusions of the scriptures, and they are purified. They are completely in touch with the Supreme Lord because they are completely self-realized. They have realized that the temporary nature of the material world. They understood that Krishna is protecting Krishna. Everything is under the control of Krishna. So they are able to do that. So Krishna's Kaviraja Goswami further explains, Shastra Jukti Nahi Jane Drida Shraddhavan Madhyama Adhikari Shei Mahabhagyavan. One who is not very expert in argument and logic based on the revealed scriptures, but who has firm faith is considered as a second class devotee. So this Madhyama Adhikari, his faith is also quite deep, but maybe sometimes he may not be able to defeat the opponents with strong arguments based on the scriptures. But you cannot shake his faith. You may give him so many counter arguments, but he is firmly convinced that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. Engagement in pure devotional service is the perfection of life. There is no doubt whatsoever in that. But in certain situations, he may not be able to defeat the opponent. That's the only difference there. So that's what here Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami is pointing out. So, yeah. Yashastradishu anipunaha shraddavan satu madhyamaha. He who does not know scriptural argument very well, but who has firm faith, is called an intermediate. So this is the definition based on the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Now he defines a Kanishta. Jahara komal shraddha she Kanishta jan krame krame teho bhakta aibe uttam. One whose faith is soft and pliable is called a neophyte. But by gradually following the process, he will rise to the platform of a first class devotee. So now the problem with the neophyte is that, so he is hearing and then, he's inspired after having heard or read, and after some time, it's like, like the clock in the pendulum, like nowadays we don't often see that we have all digital clocks. The pendulum sometimes moves this side, and then sometimes after that it moves. Not sometimes, it's on a regular pattern it moves. Similarly, a neophyte, sometimes he is convinced, oh yes, you have to surrender to Krishna, you have to chant the holy names, yes, all this process, it's all true. But then after some time, he's maybe, this process does not work, this is not, not possible. He hears from someone, he hears from his wife, his friends, his other so-called philosophers, industrialists, politicians, reading the newspaper, hearing here and there. Then he feels that, no, Krishna consciousness is not for me, it's not possible. Then his faith is gone. So the Prabhupada in the Matchless Gift gives the example that sometimes, or most of the time, sense enjoyment, and then sometimes renunciation. So he just fluctuates like this. This is typical mentality of the neophyte. So, but then, so most of us are like that. Our faith is very, very, it's a very beginning stage, Komal Shraddha. But then here, Krishna Kaviraj Goswami is also pointing out, but then following the process with faith and then acknowledging that yes, I am in a disease condition, I have a problem, but all the pure devotees, all the great personalities, they have taken to this process and they have been purified. If I also stick to the process of Krishna consciousness and then clarify my doubts, hear from the pure devotees, I'll just engage according to the instructions they have given, then what will happen? I'll be able to gradually over the time, with patience, determination and enthusiasm, I'll be able to overcome these doubts and other other inadequacies that I have in me. So this is what is bhakti. So this faith is required. So it happens, you take up bhakti, in the beginning stage, you are very much convinced, you are very respectful to devotees, you may be respectful to your teachers and all this. After some time, for whatever reason, you may lose the faith. And then you take everything like, so what, what is this? I know better. I can know why, I can do things in a better way. I don't have to follow all the programs that is there in Krishna consciousness. I know better. I can handle it. I can manipulate it. It's complete neophyte mentality. And we are in trouble. We will realize little later, but sooner we realize that's very good for us, because then there will be a progress. Then the progress will be soon, and we will be able to practice Krishna consciousness with more life, with more enthusiasm. Because Prabhupada, many places he points out about this faith which is required to make progress. Srila Prabhupada, in one of the various, faith in various ways. Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, Ashraddha dhana purusha dharmasyasi parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. You say that, okay. So after explain that how this devotional service is very powerful, Raja Vidya Raja Gogyam, Krishna says, then what happens to those persons who don't accept that this devotional service is very happily performed? One can practice happily, and it is you can see with your own eyes that you can make progress. Then he says, Ashraddha Dhana Purusha, those who do not have that faith. Okay, what to do? Then you will be Mrityu Samsara Vartmani, you will be again in the cycle of birth and death. You will be tottering the cycle of birth and death. You can see in that purport, Prabhupada gives a very elaborate explanation of the three different levels of faith and three different levels of devotees he's pointing out. So we can see what was a great specialty in Srila Prabhupada, which is the characteristics of a pure devotee. Complete faith in the words of his spiritual master. Complete faith in the words of the parampara. And you can just imagine, to make a statement, to go to the United States and you are in the midst of the happening. What was happening? People are watching in the TV that, they are watching that, we landed in the moon. Astronauts landed in the moon. There's a big celebration is going on. Prabhupada didn't give a fig to that. he didn't bother. He had so much faith in the scriptures, the conclusions of the scriptures. In fact, when one of the disciples, who was that? Purushottam Prabhu, he had his own doubts. Devotees are all speaking about it. He saw in the faith, then he said that, we saw in the TV. Neil Armstrong entered. And then when it was informed to Prabhupada said that, okay, you don't have to hear from what I say, but what about the scriptures? Scriptures say it's not possible. So Prabhupada says, why not? Why you don't have faith in the scriptures? Because the statements of the scientists are within the purview of the imperfect senses. It is not true. It's not possible. So, but Prabhupada had tremendous faith, and that actually convinced many of the disciples. In fact, Prabhupada, when we went and then when he goes out and then he preaches, in fact, who was that? Guru Kripa Prabhu. Yes, Guru Kripa Prabhu, he said that he wanted to see when Prabhupada went and then he was with George Harrison, Ravi Shankar was there. He said that he was watching what Prabhupada will preach there. So Prabhupada never compromised on the conclusions of scriptures. He was very tactful. He knew how to speak to George Harrison. He knew how to speak to Ravi Shankar, but he never compromised, to attract them or to bring them to their side. He didn't give a different philosophy. He was always singing to Kṛṣṇa supremacy. He was always preaching the pure devotional service. He never compromised. He never said that, okay, you can worship the demigods. He never said all these things. He was sticking to the pure philosophy of Krishna consciousness. Even when he went to the West, he was in the sannyasi dress. He never introduced new ideas. He had full faith, tremendous faith. Remember that, who was that? Akinchan Krishna's Babaji Maharaj. When he saw Prabhupada, he said that, what was the greatest thing that with your Guru Maharaj? He had complete faith in Krishna's holy name. This is something amazing. Prabhupada, when he went to the West, what did he have? He had full faith in the holy name. He had full faith in the words of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Complete faith, as Srila Prabhupada is writing here. In one of the letters to Trivikram Maharaj, Srila Prabhupada, he says, regarding the dust supposedly brought from the moon, that dust can be gotten anywhere. He said, it has already been openly admitted that the same dust is available on this earth planet. These astronauts and scientists are all bluffing. But Srila Vyasadeva is the correct authority. Just study Srimad Bhagavatam carefully with full faith in Krishna and Guru, and all knowledge will be revealed. So it's very inspiring, this introduction to Krishna consciousness in the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada makes such a statement. And we can see Prabhupada was always presenting Krishna consciousness in a very scientific manner. He said that at least theoretically accept Krishna to be the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this mood, you try to study the Bhagavad Gita, he says. At least this much faith we need to have. Not that at the beginning only you reject it as mythology and some stories or some tales. What we learn, what you will understand. No, you are going for I'm speaking a mundane thing. You are going to the school, there is a teacher who is going to teach you, say, math or science. And somebody comes and gives an introduction that this person, has some problems, doesn't know anything. He's a caveman. He has no idea. What you will listen, what you will hear from that person. That is what the so-called philosophers, so-called, thoughtful people are presenting about the Vedas. Veda Vyas is a caveman. These it's all mythological stories. Then what kind of impression that will have on youngsters, or for that matter anybody who approaches these Puranas like that? So it's very wrong. So one should have proper theoretical faith, accept Guru Sadhu Shastra, and then approach. Then another letter, Prabhupada says, you write that you have desired to avail of my association. Again, this Prabhupada is speaking about association with the spiritual master. So about the Vani and the Vapu, Prabhupada says, but why do you forget that you are always in association with me? When you are helping my missionary activities, I am always thinking of you and you are always thinking of me. That is the real association. Just like I always think of my Guru Maharaj every moment, although he is not physically present, and because I am trying to serve him to my capacity, I am sure he is helping me by his spiritual blessings. So there are two kinds of association, physical and preceptorial. Physical association is not so important as preceptorial association. So try to preach this Krishna consciousness movement amongst the hippies there and simply induce them to chant Hare Krishna. If they kindly join in chanting Hare Krishna, that will make our movement successful. So he's writing, Prabhupada is writing this was a letter to Govinda Dasi. He is making that they were preaching, they were experiencing the separation of Prabhupada. Because Srila Prabhupada was time to time traveling. He was in the US with the devotees, then he used to travel to India, and in different places, the preaching programs he started. And many of them, some of them, they never saw Prabhupada. They read his letters, they used to hear his tapes. There was hardly any association, but they had so much faith in following the four regulative principles, chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day 16 rounds, attending the programs. Because they were associating with Prabhupada like this, they felt the presence of Prabhupada. So this is our strength, because yes, it's a nature in the material world. Things you become too familiar. And then, even coming to temple hall, attending the Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam classes, attending the Gaur Arati. Gaur Arati, every day it's happening. What's the big thing? Attending programs. I have so many important things to do. So many things like that, And our faith becomes gradually weakened. You don't regularly hear, you don't regularly read, then gradually the respect for devotees you lose. And then gradually you don't have the faith in the authority system. Then you start raising so many doubts. And it's gone. Over a period of time, it's all gone. Then how we can have faith? Because this is the key thing by which you are connected with Krishna and Parampara. When this is gone, it's all out. It's all gone. So Prabhupada further he continues, then gradually make them more and more advanced by participating in love feast and ceremonies like Janmashtami and Ratha Yatra. Then everything will go smoothly. The only thing wanted is that we should work very sincerely with full faith in Krishna and the spiritual master. Then all help will automatically happen. So Prabhupada in another lecture, he makes such an amazing point, because as we discussed, this is one of the angas of bhakti. Sorry, I'm running out of time. I'll just read this letter and conclude. So we should always depend on Krishna's assurance. In any circumstances, any dangerous position, Krishna, avashya rakibe Krishna, vishwasha palan. This is surrender. Surrender means one item is full faith in Krishna, that in execution of my devotional service, there may be so many dangers, but because I have taken shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, I am safe. This faith for Krishna. So that's what we hear from the Acharyas and Prabhupada. And also, what is that Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur in that song, he says, just by chanting the name of Krishna, all the obstacles go away. Vipada, what is that? That song that that you take shelter of Krishna, then you have faith that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and we take shelter of Him. In that way, we will be very happy. Then by taking shelter of Krishna, then all the dangers go away. This is the whole point. So by chanting the names of the Lord and by having association of devotees, in the association of devotees, we are completely protected. And for us, the process that Srila Prabhupada has given. So we have to be honest at the end of the day. That's the whole point. At the end of the day, if we are honest, whatever may be your weak position, because Krishna is there to protect. The mercy of Srila Prabhupada is there. Mercy of the pure devotees are coming in the line. If we are honest, then there is great hope, and then we can make progress. But then, if we are going to be too smart, then we are going to be the losers. That's all. Okay. So we will stop here. So here we see that this verse particularly shows the great faith the devotees of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, the pure devotees, they had for Krishna. The Gopas here had that faith, so they entered the mouth. And there are so many incidents. We can see how devotees had great faith, and then in the process, and then there are many miracles happened in our movement. Sorry, there's no time. I'll just stop here. How we know devotees were depending on Krishna, that so many dollars were coming when they had to pay rent. They did not have money. The morning they were walking. The notes were coming. Whatever they had to pay the rent, that happened. I remember also Hari Vilas Prabhu was here. His Grace Hari Vilas Prabhu. He was narrating another incident in France. They had to pay rent. They did not have money. Suddenly one fine day morning, they had a purse. And they found, I do not know how much money, I didn't remember, but they were also in anxiety. Krishna somehow or other, they sent some money, they were able to pay the rent. He was in pressure, I think he was temple president, he was actually leading devotee there, had to take care of things, it was a challenge. So like that. And then also there was another amazing incident, how dancing white elephants, there was Yamuna Mataji, she was in great distress, thinking that Prabhupada has given her a lot of tasks. And then in one of the thing is that she had to buy paraphernalias for the deities. She had to buy so many things, she had to buy for the deities, but they did not have funds. It was very difficult, she could not get funds. One fine day morning, she was sitting in the street, she was sitting and crying. She was literally crying. What to do? I don't know what to do, how to fulfill this. They had so much faith in the process, that they went on chanting, they went on. And when she was sitting like that in the street, crying, there was two fellows, they were driving the car, they saw that one Mataji, she's crying, they went and approached her, what is the problem? And she upfront, she told them that, my Guru Maharaj has given a task, we need funds, we are establishing deities, we need funds for the deity outfits and like that. And then what happened? They said that, no, we know one big donor, you come with us, we will try to go and approach. Say they took you remember who was the donor? I think, I'm not sure, it's a Tata or someone. Huh? Yeah, actually the person's father, yes, the person's father, the person who took that event and met the father, and she explained what is this all about, what is happening. And then he said that, okay, he provided for all the outfits and all the funds she got. This was the early days of the devotees. Many things happened. There are, so many things like that. Anyway, at least from our side, that endeavor to at least bare minimum what is required for us to do. If we do, and if we have faith, so many things will happen. We are, big temple is coming up. We need so many devotees. We need so many responsible devotees to take care of many things. So we need to stay together. We need to take up services in a real enthusiastic spirit, and we need to come forward. And sure, Kṛṣṇa will give us mercy, and the Prabhupada's mercy will be there, and we'll be able to make progress. Okay, sorry for the extended time. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Hare Krishna.